We'll call this meeting to order. This is Tuesday, July 2nd, 2013. And I always like to see all the smiling faces out there in the audience, so welcome everybody. I think we'll start out here. We'll kick it off with Jim David with the staff report, please.
Good afternoon, City Council. Jim David, Council staff. Just a few updates. The Fire Sprinkler Task Force, which was led by Councilor Kenny Anderson Jr., met for the final time last week and endorsed some regulatory trade-offs that were proposed by the Fire Marshal for small multifamily dwellings. Both Fire and Building Services will detail these trade-offs at the upcoming Public Services Committee meeting on July 9th, and also an ordinance adopting the current state regulation requiring sprinklers in multifamily housing with 6 or more units will also be discussed. There are 3 spots available for the National League of Cities Conference, which is scheduled in Seattle on November 13th through the 16th. Some of the topics will include neighborhood revitalization, Seattle's zero waste strategy, and public-private partnerships. There is a discount if we register by July 30th. And per your direction, 3 letters supporting Lewis and Clark are in front of you, and they've been drafted for your consideration. Due to Councilor Staggers' absence today, we're going to wait till next week to have those signatures. But I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank both Lewis and Clark Executive Director Troy Larson and Heather Hitterdall in the Mayor's office for their assistance in developing this letter. Happy to entertain any questions.
Any questions for Jim? Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Council open discussion. Is there anything before this council anybody would like to bring up? Yes, Councilor Erpenbach, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am the mayor's and council's appointment to the Homeless Advisory Board, which meets every couple of months, and we had kind of a depressing meeting yesterday. And I wanted to share some facts and figures with you, and then decided that what I'd prefer to do is ask if council would be interested in having folks from the HAB and Sioux Falls Housing and a couple of other groups come in and talk about what the sequestration on the federal level is going to do in terms of affordable housing, and what the new criminal justice reform package from the state of South Dakota is potentially going to do for the city of Sioux Falls as well. There are some things that we're going to be dealing with in terms of the numbers of people who will need housing in a place where rental units are, the vacancy rate is less than 4% at this point, and affordable housing is almost unattainable at this point in terms of those folks that have lower incomes or higher needs. I think it's something we need to be aware of, we need to pay attention to, and I don't think I can do the numbers justice, and so I wondered if council would be interested in that for an informational meeting at some point in the future.
I believe we'll probably take and schedule it if that's okay with the rest of the council. We will. Michelle, I'll work with you on the schedule.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Is there any other business, new business? Okay, I'd like to bring one thing up as chair. That being that shortly we will have the mayor's presentation here on our capital plan for 2014 to 2018. I would like to take this time to set our first work session for the budget, for the CIP budget. I'm going to set that for Wednesday, July 17th. And I would like to set that, and we'll plan from 3 to 6 o'clock. Hopefully we will work the schedule out from 3 to 5, but tentatively right now from 3 to 6. I would suggest to the councilors that after you have an opportunity to go through your budget, that you contact Dave Bixler, and if there's any specific departments that you would like information from, please contact him and he will get them put on the schedule. He'll work with me and we'll get those scheduled. So that first work session on the CIP budget is scheduled for Wednesday, July 17th, beginning at 3 o'clock, and that will be out in the multi-purpose room out here. Okay? Once we have that session is over with, we will take just a quick survey of the counselors that attend to see if we need to schedule another one at that point in time, and then we'll work accordingly. All right. No other business at this time. Mayor Huther, welcome.
Councilor Inman, thank you so much for the opportunity. We certainly appreciate this. It's hard to believe, but this is my 4th capital program budget. Time is certainly flying by, but it is one of the roles as your mayor that I thoroughly enjoy. And I just love how far that we have come in terms of strengthening the process for our city. I think that the biggest win has been how we have strengthened the communication and the coordination between the financial analysts, our department heads, and ultimately, yes, their teams. It has helped us make the absolute most out of these valuable taxpayer dollars. With that in mind, let's proceed with the plan. First, I just wanted to say we have accomplished so much over the last 3 years with the capital plans that you folks have approved in the past. Over 200 miles of road improvements. We've got a stronger sanitary and sewer system. We've got water lines that are pumping at a phenomenal rate. We've got enhanced parks, and yes, a bike trail that is second to none. Our River Greenway, we've got phase 1 that is done, phase 2 is almost done, and we'll talk about a future phase as well in today's presentation. Our new event center, in about a week, will be halfway done. And yes, in August of this year, we'll be celebrating the brand new library for our town that we have deemed Prairie West. The results of the citizen survey are in, and the citizens of this town, they are appreciating the work that we are doing. The citizens have noticed. Let's talk about just a couple of them. First of all, we had the greatest improvement in terms of satisfaction level when it came to street repair amongst the people of our town. Now, we're certainly not done by any stretch of the imagination, but in a short period of time, we have definitely improved the satisfaction of the people of our town. City parks, 93% of the people that live in our town rated our city parks as good or excellent. And then, yes, of course, you never want to forget safety. Well, when you look at our police team, when you look at our fire team, you've got 83% that rated our police team and 96% that rated our fire team as good or excellent. They've also realized that Sioux Falls is certainly a great place. 93%, they believe that Sioux Falls is a good or an excellent place to live. 90% of the folks in our town, they believe that the overall quality of life of our town is good or excellent. I certainly love how far that we have come as a city, but I'm even more enthused about the work that lies ahead. And yes, there is more work that lies ahead. With the capital program that I'm going to talk about today, we will invest $89.3 million in 2014 alone. Over the next 5 years, we are projected or planning to spend or invest $429.1 million on capital projects. This is one of the grandest plans in our city's history. Now, let me first by starting to explain how do we pay for this grand plan or these vital investments. Well, the primary source is the second penny sales tax, $212.5 million of the revenues that we will use to pay for these comes from that second penny sales tax. User fees, $111 million, and then there's other sources as well. But in total, we'll have $429.1 million in revenue that we're projecting to come in. How did we come up with that? Well, we are assuming sales tax growth of 5% each year for the next 5 years. Next year will be the highest sales tax revenue ever collected in our great city. Now, we're not going to spend this money just to spend it. That's not the intent. We think that the taxpayers of this city should have the major say in what we do. Here are their top priorities. When we asked them to rate in importance where they feel that Sioux Falls should spend their money, they said 98% of them, that's almost 100% of the people of our town, said streets. Number 2, they want improved traffic flow. And number 3, as you know, they love parks. So, what are we going to do with their money, their taxpayer dollars? Well, 41% of the dollars we would like to go to highways and streets, almost $175 million. Utilities, 32%, and then parks, libraries, the arena, the convention center, the pavilion, those quality of life investments will take up 16% or $68 million of the capital program. When I was running for mayor, I made a commitment that if I was elected, that I would take care of the infrastructure needs of our city first and foremost. Now, I certainly knew I couldn't do it alone, that the 1,100 city employees, that the city council, and all of the other hardworking men and women of this town would be involved in that effort. Why? Because the foundation of this city must be rock solid before we could ever tackle any of the bigger opportunities that we knew that were out there. We will continue that effort with this plan. Infrastructure will remain this mayor's highest priority. We will strengthen and expand our transportation system. We will improve traffic flow and efficiency. We will repair and rebuild the existing infrastructure of our town. And yes, we will add capacity to the utility infrastructure. 4 out of every $10 of this plan will go to repairing, rebuilding, replacing, and strengthening our roads. $175 million of the people's money will make that happen. You know, I've got the greatest problem that a mayor in America could have. Our town is booming. People want to live here. They want to work here. They want to play here. And as they do, as they move here, they bring a truck, they bring a car along with them. And yes, we are growing. We need to keep ahead of that growth. And this plan will help us do that. We are going to invest over $70 million in arterial roads alone. In 2014, for example, we will expand 41st Street from Sertoma Avenue to the T. Ellis Road. Then there's another big project in terms of expanding later on, 49th Street extension from Western Avenue to Duluth, and so many more that we know that we need to tackle as a city to keep this city growing and keep this city ultimately moving. And yes, we do have to keep Sioux Falls moving. Remember, 93% of the Sioux Falls residents, they feel that improving traffic flow is a solid use of the taxpayer dollars. We need to keep Sioux Falls moving. Now, these type of improvements, these type of investments, these type of projects, they are not easy. And they're certainly not always fun because of the delays that they've caused. However, we know that they are necessary. You know, one of the necessary investments or projects that we're working on right now is over there at 57th and Western. There are orange barrels, orange cones everywhere over there. And everybody in this town knows it. But they know it needs to be done. They know that it's long overdue. They know that it's expensive. They know that it takes time, but ultimately they know that it needs to be done. Now, there's others that are going to occur. Sioux Falls, get ready. There's others. For example, 10th and Sycamore Avenue. That's an intersection that needs attention. Another one, 41st Street and Western Avenue. Another one that desperately needs our attention. Now, we can't just build roads to keep traffic moving. We have to use the latest technology that is available in America today to keep Sioux Falls moving. Traffic signal lights and improving that efficiency and that productivity is one way to do it. We are going to invest in the latest technology to improve our traffic signals. The big intersections that we're going to address will include 85th in Minnesota, 41st in Southeastern, and yes, 49th and Solberg. We will keep up with the growth with this plan, but mark my words, we will not forget we need to repair and rebuild what we already have. Now, look at the numbers. I mean, $44.5 million on overlay and concrete pavement restoration, major street reconstruction, and yes, downtown street improvements. I'll tell you, Sioux Falls, please, I would encourage you to come downtown. Check it out. Look at all the improvements that we are making in the heartbeat of your town. And I'll tell you, that heartbeat, it is pumping. We plan to make more improvements, such as 2nd Avenue, 6th Street, and Dakota Avenue. These are expensive projects when you're in downtown Sioux Falls. It costs you about $1 million a block to repair or replace a downtown street in comparison to about $100,000 a block on the outside of downtown. But it's worth it, and we'll continue to make that investment. Now, water is so key to our town, as all of you know. Water mains, sanitary sewer lines, pumping stations, they all get heavy, heavy use. And the problem is, they also get older. These two must be repaired and they must be updated, and we will make the investments to make that happen. Now, please remember, and I think the council has been one of the biggest advocates of this, is that please remember, even with all of these investments that we're making in our utility infrastructure, Sioux Falls utility rates remain extremely competitive. It's something that we need to celebrate. Roads, sanitary sewer, water, traffic flow, you know, they may be boring, but boy, they are certainly critical. Now, let's talk about some of the other priorities that our people have. Let's start with Parks and Rec. Of course, Sioux Falls values our parks. 91% of the people, they feel that investing in Sioux Falls parks has got to be a priority. You will see that we are planning to make some large investments over the next 5 years that will improve our citizens' health, our ability to stay active regardless of the weather, and ultimately, our quality of life. You know, wouldn't it be great if we could get some knees scraped, our clothes dirty, some bodies sweaty, and some blood pumping along the way? Our town, the city of Sioux Falls, our people, we are refocusing on living well. These $50 million in investments will play a major role in doing just that. So let's talk about that. Well, first of all, we believe that it's time to dive in to an indoor aquatics facility for Sioux Falls. We just completed a citywide aquatics master plan. The purpose of the plan was to develop a roadmap over the next 10 years for the future aquatics in our city. The master plan recommended that an indoor aquatic facility is the highest, the top priority for our city. The plan in front of you recognizes that fact. This town loves green space too. We do. And our town is growing, as I just have been talking about. We want to do our best to provide a public park for all folks to enjoy, regardless of where they live. Every direction, north, south, east, west, they will see at least one new park with this plan. In fact, the southwest part of our town, Councilor Jameson's area, they're actually going to see 2 new parks with this plan. Southwest Sioux Falls, new park. Northwest Sioux Falls, new park. Southeast Sioux Falls, new park. Northeast Sioux Falls, new park. We have 5 community centers that young and old, they take full advantage of every single day of the year. Our plan provides for a 6th that will be adjacent to Explore Elementary School on the southwest part of Sioux Falls. I don't know if all of you had a chance, but last Saturday, over 1,000 cyclists enjoyed the Sioux Falls Bike Trail. Cindy, Kylie, and I were just 3 of them that participated in the inaugural Tour Sioux Falls event. I am proud to say that our trail has never been better. However, the demand for more access, the demand for more trails, it is high. And we will invest $1.6 million to help satisfy that hunger. Okay, dog lovers, get ready. You know, we've heard the barking, and the message is loud and clear. We plan to build a west side dog park at Family Park and an east side dog park as well. San Antonio, here we come. Phase 1 of the River Greenway is already being enjoyed by thousands each week. Phase 2 will celebrate its ribbon cutting this summer. We want to continue this dream, this vision, and this journey by beginning Phase 3 in 2017. The most important aspect to any family's quality of life is truly whether they feel safe. We take public safety in our town very, very seriously. As part of that effort, we plan to build 2 new fire stations here in the city. In 2014, there will be a new fire station at Maple Street and Marion Road. And in 2018, there will be a fire station at 41st Street and 6 Mile Road. Now, Council, I know you've got a lot of work ahead of you. There's all kinds of things to consider. But I just wanted to kind of touch on 4 other things that are within the plan that I think you need to know. First of all, we know that there is a proven need to address some of the storage issues within our museums in our town. We know that. We feel that leasing space immediately is the most prudent and effective solution. We hope to work and partner with the county to solve this issue as soon as possible. The ice storm 75 days ago. Well, it showed us that you can't always ensure power at even our command center for the Operation Emergency Center. A new generator will provide power for the entire law enforcement center, and we want to do that in 2014. I've already talked about downtown and how it's just pumping like crazy right now. Downtown development is real. It is. 30 brand new or expanded businesses in last year alone, 2012 alone. Demand for parking is inevitable. This plan positions the city to respond quickly to meet this demand. And then one other topic that we've not spent a lot of time talking about is that we do want to do a study and study the space needs for a satellite facility that will provide efficiencies for maintaining operations for public works. All of the machinery, all that heavy equipment that we use across our city. The plan also provides for funding in 2016 to build the recommended facility to ultimately make this happen. Again, just kind of to summarize, we've come a long way, Sioux Falls. We know that. The people of our town, I don't know if they've ever been this confident. We keep listening, and ultimately, this team, the city council team, this mayor and our team, I think we're trying to listen to the people, and we're certainly prioritizing accordingly. And yep, this is a boom town. But that doesn't faze us in any way, shape, or form. We welcome it. We relish it. And this plan will ensure that we stay one step ahead. So, bring on the growth. Bring on the opportunities. This town is ultimately ready. I want to thank the finance team for leading the charge in developing the capital improvement plan that's in front of you today. I also want to thank the department heads and so many of the other dedicated city employees. Thousands of hours have gone into developing this plan. We feel that it is prudent, it's responsible, and we strongly feel that it meets the needs and wishes of our people. And we can't wait to get started. But of course, before we can get started, your blessing is important too. We look forward to working with you and ensuring that the questions you have are ultimately answered. I want to thank you for the opportunity today, and with that, Council Chair Entenmann, if you have any questions today, we'd be happy to start that process.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure there are a few questions. As you know, I have scheduled a first CIP budget work session for this council for July 17th, 3 hours that day from 3 until 6 o'clock. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot more questions for you, but that being said, are there questions from the council? Councilor Jameson.
I was just smiling.
Okay. Just checking, Greg.
Councilor Jameson, thanks for the smile. Thank you.
I believe that the mayor has presented us all with our budget books, and I know there's a lot of reading that I'm sure we're all going to be doing in the days ahead of us. Are there any further questions? Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. We look forward to more discussions on this budget.
Councilor Chair Entenmann, City Council, thank you very much. People of Sioux Falls, thank you as well. Make it a great day.
Thank you. Okay, we do have an issue coming before us. Is there any other questions or any other discussion amongst the council at this time? Councilor Jameson?
I'd make a motion we go into an executive session regarding a personal matter pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-21.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we will go into executive session.
Good ask.